In this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to fill out IRS Form W4. Coming up next on Holy Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt!
Hi everyone, this is Jeff Schmidt from holyschmidt.com and deductions.tax. Hey, is IRS Form W4 confusing for you? Well, I've got to tell you, you're not alone. Many people have found the complete revamp of IRS Form W4 for 2020 thoroughly confusing and hard to understand. For employment year 2020, the IRS has changed Form W4 to something that looks a lot more like a mini tax return than it does a one-page form that you would fill out as part of an employee welcome kit. But to be honest, it was probably time the IRS revamped Form W4 because the old Form W4, 2019 and earlier, caused a lot of problems at year end. Either people had under withholding in many cases and owed the IRS money and potentially penalties as well, or over withheld and basically they were giving the IRS a tax-free loan. The good news is that the trick to filling out Form W4 is simply finding out which of the three calculation options is best for you, and that's where we're going to spend the next few minutes. Now let's go to my computer and go right to the form. There are 5 steps to Form W4. The first step is your personal information. Here you enter your first name, your last name, your address, your city, state, zip code, and of course your social security number. Then you choose your filing status, single or married filing separately, married filing jointly, or head of household. By the way, head of household is if you are unmarried but you pay for more than half the costs to support others in your home outside of yourself. These could be your children, your parents, a brother or sister, anyone that you have to pay for their support. Let's choose single. Let's go back here. Let's choose single for the calculation because I'm going to show you what to do when you have multiple jobs, and this is the easiest way to do it. Now step 2 is the step that you complete if you hold more than one job or if you're married and both you and your spouse both work. It's the same exact step both ways, but we're going to show you how to deal with multiple jobs in just a second. You'll see that section A, 2A, is what's called the estimator section. So this is the online irs.gov app, and the form says that you would use this for the most accurate withholding for this step number 2 and steps 3 and 4. I will tell you that most people, in fact, almost everyone, does not use 2A, they use 2B. But just for completeness, if you're a tax connoisseur and you want to get it exactly right, you can do it online at irs.gov/W4 app. You will need last year's tax return to do this. It's quite complicated, and that's why most people, instead of using 2A, use 2B as the option. Now 2B is the multiple jobs worksheet, and this is for individuals that have 2 or more jobs or couples that both work with 2 or more jobs. And then 2C is a very quick shortcut version of step 2, and that's if you happen to have 2 jobs and make about the same money in each job, or if you and your spouse both have a job and you both make about the same amount of money, then you would just check this box here and the proper withholding from your paycheck would occur on your paycheck, and your spouse would do the same thing at her work. Now let's talk about step 2B, because this is where 99% of you are going to be. And to be completely candid, the IRS could have just used 2B and ignored everything else. Now I know why they didn't provide just one option. This is because the old Form W4 was very inaccurate and caused many problems for people not paying their taxes at the end of the year. So they dealt into the issue by being over accurate, but again, I think 2A and 2C overcomplicate things. Now let me tell you what you're looking at. If you go to page 4, you will see 3 different tables. The top table is for those that are married filing jointly. The middle table, single or married filing separately, and the bottom table is head of household. Let's go to the middle one, single but working 2 jobs. Because again, this is if you're working more than one job and you need to make an adjustment because of this. The left column shows how much you earn on your higher paying job. That's the job. In this case, let's say that job pays you $52,000 a year. The top row is how much you earn on your lower paying job. And let's say the lower paying job pays you $18 an hour or $36,000 a year. So you go to the left column and see that the 5th line down is $40,000 to $59,000. That's this one right here. And your $52,000 job falls in between $40,000 and $59,000. So this is the line you would use for your higher paying job. Now let's look at the lower paying job. Since you are making $18 an hour at your lower paying job, that's $36,000 a year, and assuming you're working 2,000 hours each year, that is $36,000. But if you were working less, then it would be less than $36,000. You'd use the actual amount that you would make, not the annualized amount if you weren't working the full amount of time. Otherwise, you would withhold too much from your paycheck. This falls under column 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The $36,000 is between $30,000 and $39,000. So column 4 is the column you would use. If you look at the intersection between column 4 and the row for the higher paying job, $52,000 a year, this intersects at $5,540 for the year. So this is the amount that is going to go into your worksheet to determine how much is an additional withholdings comes out of your check. This isn't, by the way, a per check amount, it's an annual amount. And the way you adjust this is you go to the multiple jobs worksheet, and you would take the amount that you just determined from page 4, that's $5,540, and you would enter the number of pay periods you have for each year. Now let's assume that you get paid every 2 weeks. That's 26 pay periods per year. You divide 5,540 by 26, and that's $213.04, and that is the amount that you put into line 4C on your W4. So it's 213.07. Now let's talk about step 3. Step 3 is where you reduce your withholdings because you have a deduction for dependents. This only applies if you earn $200,000 a year or less, if you're single, or if you and your spouse together earn $400,000 a year or less. If you have dependent children under 18, add the number together and multiply that by 2,000. So if you have 3 children, that's 3 times 2,000, and that would be a number here. That would be $6,000 that goes into this line here. If you have other dependents like a brother or a sister or a parent, you multiply $500 times those, the number of additional dependents, and let's just say you had a brother, and that's all who was dependent on you, that's an additional $500. If you add the two together, that gets you to $6,500 for a dependent reduction on the withholding amount from your taxes. Finally, let's talk about step 4. Now, we've already entered the extra withholding from multiple jobs, but if you want to make this really, really accurate, and this is optional, but you can and should do this if you have an itemized return. If you had an itemized return last year, then chances are you'll have an itemized return this year. 4A is where you enter other income, and this is income from dividends, it's income from interest, it's retirement income, etc. Let's just say that you had other income. That other income would go here. Let's just say it's $2,500. And deductions, again, if you itemized your tax return last year, this is a very important part for you. This is all calculated right here on step 4B's deduction worksheet. So let's just assume for a second that you had mortgage interest of $16,000 and state and local taxes of $10,000 and donations of $500. You add that all together, and that gives you a line item of $26,500 in deductions. Now, say you're married and filing jointly, you have a $24,800 allowance that goes on this line, and the difference is $1,700, and that's a reduction to your monthly withholding. Line 4 of step 4B is for student loan interest, deductible IRA contributions, etc. Let's say you had $3,000 in student loan interest and $1,500 to an IRA contribution. That's $4,500, and that goes on this line. The total of $1,700 from line 3 and $4,500 from line 4 gives you a grand total of $6,200. And this goes on line 5 of the deductions worksheet, and this is also entered into step 4B. You enter $6,200. So gang, that's it. Not hard when you break it down, is it? Now this is what we call at Holy Schmidt a foundation video. That means that we want to get the word out to as many people as we possibly can. So we're going to run a little contest so that you can help us do it. On June 30th and December 31st of every year starting in 2020 and then moving onward from there, we're going to give away a $100 Visa gift card. And all you have to do is give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe and click notifications, and make a brief comment in the comment section. A question, a tip, or an observation. Anything will do. We'll pick one person randomly from that group every 6 months starting June 30th, 2020 onward. This is Jeff Schmidt, and thanks for watching this video on Form W4. In the next video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to fill out the Form 1040 Easy. That's hard to say. Well, I just said it. Bye, everyone.